Depending on the day, a U.S.-China trade deal takes one step forward, two steps back. But today it looked like it was two steps forward. First, White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett said he's confident the two countries can and will reach a trade deal by the March 1st deadline imposed back on December 1st at the G20 meeting. Second step forward, China's securities regulator Fang Jinghai revealed in Davos he thinks there will be a trade deal between the U.S. and China because, quote, Donald Trump measures his own success by the rise and fall of the U.S. stock market. But the step back, the U.S. Department of Justice standing firm on extraditing Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Vancouver by Canadian authorities at the U.S.'s request. She's accused of bypassing Iran's sanctions to sell the Chinese networking equipment her company makes to the Iranians. From the moment she was arrested, chatter in China about boycotting Canadian products started to bubble up in state-run newspapers. One target, extreme weather outerwear giant Canada Goose, which Bain Capital invested in back in 2013 and brought it public 4 years later. To Davos, Switzerland, where we're joined now by Bain Capital co-chairman Stephen Pagliuca. Canadian brands might eventually be what gets hit by collateral damage in this battle between the U.S. and China. And already, you know, the company shares of Canada Goose have pulled back since then. How closely, Stephen, would a rebound depend on both a resolution to both the Huawei situation and a trade deal between the U.S. and China?
I think the bigger picture is resolving the whole trade situation, and hopefully there is enough on the table for both sides to do that. Obviously, it's a big trade issue, and I think there are exports into the U.S. of about $500 billion, and that's a big number, and we export $130 billion. Yeah. So I think both sides, I hear both sides want this to happen, and it'll probably happen as a package deal. So hopefully we'll get through that, because with Brexit and all the other economic things looming out there, it's just not good to have that uncertainty.
No, not at all. And then you've got the uncertainty of China's economy. China's 2018 GDP was just reported over the weekend, slowest in nearly 3 decades. Up until now, the rising middle and upper class Chinese were, so to speak, the goose that laid the golden retail egg, and they loved these golden goose jackets. You know, when it comes to Canada Goose, are they scaling back? You know, tell me about the sales you're seeing.
You have to say their progress over the last 20 years has been unprecedented, and they've kind of gotten through almost every blip that's been out there. And they're very smart folks, and I think they realize what's at stake here, and so do we. And I'm hoping cooler minds will prevail, and I'm hearing that these talks are going in the right direction.
Yeah. I was just in Paris, and I went to the Paris flea market, and there were so many knockoffs of all brands, Hermes and Gucci, but I saw a lot of knockoffs of Canada Goose jackets, and I would only imagine that that is happening in China, too. Is that an issue at all? I mean, how are you guys tackling that problem?
Well, the company has a robust policy to try to prevent that, and they're working with various agencies and governments to do it. I mean, the good news is fundamentally there is nothing better than a Canada Goose jacket, so they really can't knock off what really the product is, and consumers are smart. And so many who are buying those, you know, are not getting the quality or turning them away. So it's very hard to kind of replicate the warmness of this. As you know, from being in Davos, I think 5-6 years ago I started wearing the coat. It was actually the first time I was ever warm in Davos, and I could actually talk articulately in interviews sitting when it's 50 below behind me.
Bain has been in retail for decades, but retail, as you know, has changed and morphed. Having gone through what you guys did with Toys R Us bankrupt, Gymboree, what must any investment that you and Bain make in retail offer today before you put money behind it?
Well, we've really got to look at the impact of the internet and technology on every business, including retail. Every PE firm today has to be a technology company fundamentally and understand that technology, because it affects the supply chain, distribution, retail, and all those things included. The positive is that we've invested in a lot of things like Blue Nile, which benefit by the internet bump, and have experts in that, and we can transform businesses and get them more online.
You had warned a year ago at Davos to proceed with caution when it came to investing in 2018. You were spot on. What did you see then, and do you feel the same or different about this year? Because we're getting headlines out of Davos of everybody being completely terrified of a recession.
I think the longer we've gone without having a recession, there's obviously more probability. The kind of the issues they're talking about here in Davos that could bring us into more problems are, will there be a hard Brexit? That's a big discussion topic here. The second topic would be, how long does this trade war last? Mm-hmm. And a third topic, which is a little less talked about, is the fact that many of these economies, including the U.S., have big, national deficits now. So we're up to 22 trillion. We talked 3 years ago. I think we were at 17 trillion.
I remember.
We're at 22 trillion now. And that was probably okay when interest rates were Treasury was paying 1% or less than 1% for the debt. But as that goes up, if you look in 5 years from now, 10% of the budget may be spent just on interest, servicing the debt. So there's got to be some concern there. That being said, the United States economy is still going strong, but I would say, again, the watchword for this year for Bain Capital is proceed with caution and really look at businesses we can fundamentally transform and change. But plain vanilla businesses that you count on a multiple going up, not going to happen.
Stephen, it's great to see you, and I miss our times at Davos holding the gigantic wheels of cheese.
Well, I don't know if I had room in my suitcase. Maybe I can bring you back a small wheel. But you're at least you're there in 72 degrees, climate controlled, and they gave me a water here, and it actually was frozen.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'll take the Gruyere. By the way, we talked to Stephen Pagliuca about so much more. He is also, as if he's not doing enough over at Bain Capital, he's also the co-owner of the Boston Celtics. Find out what he thinks about the way the National Basketball Association is handling gambling when it comes to the sport. It's an online exclusive. You can find it right now at lizclayman.com.